I actually finally labeled this. So it's Dr. Trout's Central State Channel. If you guys miss anything, I usually just film it and like the PowerPoint. So the one crappy thing is if I show like a movie that's copyrighted, they shut me down. That's how I've gotten in trouble a couple of times, but it's not the end of the world. This is Intro to Social Work, right? Is that what you guys came here for? I always check with you guys before I get started, because it's on the first day. It's easy to go somewhere else. I know we're a few minutes from start, but usually on the first day I don't take very long. Syllabus, and then like show you the PowerPoint. Are you guys able to still get books from the bookstore here? Okay. I'll at least provide you some links with the PowerPoints. Hello, how are you?
How you doing?
Good. So, because everybody here is social work major, even you two. That's impressive. Which one is yours?
I'm a business.
Business? Cool. And then this is now one of the required classes, right? Is that why you guys come in?
I'm not sure.
I think it is required. Because in the past it was 2,200, but last year we voted on 1,100 would be one of the requireds. So you will at least get your what do they call that? Your core curriculum out of the way by taking it. I want this to be right in the middle. Before we start, though, do you guys have any questions or concerns? Or everybody a freshman? Freshman. That's good. I'll let you guys try to guess. What year do you think was my freshman year?
2006.
Close. You're within 10. I was born in the 70s, so if that helps break it down.
1995.
It was 96. Yep. So close. I was still in college then, but that's because I chose to do graduate school. So if you're one of the people that likes to suffer in graduate school, that's how. I was a freshman in grad school in 06 for my my doctorate, actually. So, well, I know we are 20 seconds out, but I wanted to welcome you guys. Does everyone have access to D2L? That's the other thing. Here's your little D2L space. Hello. Because this is going to be your magic go-to. We turn everything in through here. And like I said, I film everything on YouTube Live. So if you missed something or you wanted to sign in here, ask a question on the live chat for your attendance or write your name, let me know. The most important is all of the major assignments, which you can get in your syllabus. So you'll get your syllabus on here. This is D2L. If you can't get into here yet, make sure to go. I have to look at which way it is. Do you know where the tower? Okay, so you walk past the tower, and on the third floor there, they'll hook you up with your access to D2L. So if you haven't gotten, was anybody here or used Schoology before D2L? I like Schoology a lot better. Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Good. So this is our new one. It still works. So you still can turn in your assignments, view the YouTube Live link, and get what you need from D2L. And there should be, I try to keep it simple because D2L is somewhat complicated, and I usually do, and the content is where I usually put your syllabus. If you wanted a copy of it, go ahead and ask. Are you guys, do you know if you're section 1 or section 2? 001. That would probably make sense. So if you go under 1, I still have to change this. This is fun. So again, my name is Dr. Jonathan Trouth. I've been teaching here for a few years. Call it John Trouth instructor. And then I've been working as a social worker for 20 years. So I worked first at Claremont Recovery Center for a few years, and I worked at Ohio Mentor for 4 years, and Lighthouse Youth Services for 7 years. And I started teaching full time in 2015 and 2016. So if you go to content here, your syllabus should be already there. There it is. Okay. And you can download it, print it out at the library, and everything in this class gets turned in right here. So you would go to either assignments, discussions, and I'm going to take a vote if you guys would rather do like a final exam, multiple choice, that type of stuff, or a paper that's like a self-reflection. Most people seem to like paper that's self-reflection, but you all might like multiple choice quizzes. I don't know. So we could take a pre-vote. Who would rather have quizzes and multiple choices and all that fun stuff? Because you have to do that for your license anyway. So we'll give you stuff to prepare. Who would rather have a self-reflection paper at the end? Okay. The paper. So usually that one would just be a few pages, 3 to 4.
How long's the quiz?
Quizzes could be the whole book. You sound like you like quizzes. Right? And then, are you a social work major?
I'm a psychology.
Okay. That's why you like quizzes, I think. And that's interesting, too, is psychology, there's not a licensure exam at the end of your bachelor's degree. But in social work, we do have one, and you have to take basically quizzes to get your license. So, well, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. We could go around the room. So, you guys want to go this way? So, like, what high school, city, major you are now, what you want to do with your life?
Okay, my name is Tiffany. I'm from New Jersey. High school?
Yeah.
I went to Skyway High School. Probably never know it.
I don't know if I could spell that.
PISCATNWAY.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a high school in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a business major, and I'm not really sure what I want to do when I grow up.
That's okay. That's why we're here. So business major, you at least know you want to get into business, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome and thank you. You want to go next?
My name is Jason Payne. I'm with the third grade Washington, Ohio, and my major is social work. I don't even know what I want to do this for. I do like teaching, so that's all.
So both freshmen too, right? Okay. Welcome. Either one of you, if you guys want to go.
My name is Jasmine. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. My major is social work.
That's okay. That's why this is a good class, because we go over every area of social work you can get into. And even like licensure, and then, some people even choose not to get the license. You just get the bachelor's of social work and go work as a homeless advocate, go work in a soup kitchen in a shelter, work with kids, be a mentor, things of that nature. If you get the license, though, you get about a 30% raise right off the bat. The license is federal funded, Medicaid paid. My first job was probably like $24,000 a year, and they said, get your license, and you will get a 35% raise. And so I got my license, and I went up to $35,000 a year, which, you still can live off of it, but inflation's got, you guys hear about this inflation number at all? Anybody know what inflation is? It is. Yep. And we'll get into that. Usually they have printed a lot of money, so it's an increase in the money supply. And because they have, say last year they printed like $3 trillion. It was kind of fun. Did anybody get one of those checks? It was cool, right? It was like, sweet, I got 200. I think with the kids, we got 300 a month. But because of that increase in money supply, and there's the same number of goods, what do you think is going to happen with those goods that you're buying? Like there was 3 or 4 trillion out there. They printed 3 trillion more dollars. So we had 3 trillion in supply. They printed up 3 trillion. They gave them out in like student loans, and our kid payment came every 15th of the month. I got $300 for my baby born last year. And then I think we got a stimulus check too. So it was fun, but now we're paying the price for it. So it's like, damn it, which is the right way to go? So yeah, that's what inflation is. So welcome. You want to go or you want to go? Okay.
My name is Jalen Bennett. I am from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm a social work major, and I believe that I want to go either in the hospital field or criminal justice.
Hospital pays kind of the most right now. Like I feel like I could still, you can take like PRN jobs. A lot of times they'll require that 1-year master's after your bachelor's. But that's the other good news. Our school is currently accredited by Council on Social Work Education. So what that means is if you graduate with your bachelor's, it's only 1 year to get your master's. Most social workers have to do 2. I did it part-time, so it took me 3, which was 60 hours. But because we're accredited, it's almost like in your senior year, you're doing your first round of graduate school, and then you would only do 11 months after that from June until May to get a master's of social work. And that will increase your pay by like another 30%, which is kind of cool. So hospitals, 20, you get out of the teens per hour. So it's easy to start in the teens per hour. You get your license, top of the teens per hour. So like 35,000 a year, 45,000 a year, and then hospitals 50-some thousand, and then supervisor and things of that nature. And with inflation, who knows? Our salaries could be all completely different, but for many years it's been about that same number. So, welcome. You want to go?
My name is Madison. I'm a freshman too. I'm a social work major. I'm looking more towards like the judicial side.
Okay.
Social work.
Like policy, advocacy, stuff like that. Cool. That's good. That also can be fun and interesting. There's a ton of social workers. Would you want to go all the way to Washington, D.C.?
No.
Okay. Which you don't have to. There's plenty. The best politics happens on the local side, is what I've always been told. The most impact we can do. I mean, federal's big, but the local decisions are what impact us right now today. We've seen that with COVID and the coronavirus and stuff like that. Anybody from a city that's handled COVID differently than Ohio has? Or Cincinnati?
Cincinnati.
Different than Chicago. So like the bigger cities, Cincinnati's big but not huge. I feel like Chicago, New York, LA, maybe Baltimore. Has Baltimore seen any major lockdowns or anything? Okay.
Yeah, if the numbers go up, we incident.
Okay. So I think that's the difference, is because it's more populated. So
Every time I went to New York, like I had to show my vaccination card to get it everywhere.
seriously?
That's how I didn't see that in 2015. That's how like you really have to show it. Like you can't have a picture of it, you have to have it out in
So does that sound similar to something in history we've had in the past 80 years? You know what I'm talking about? 1941 Germany. You guys know what happened then? Where they're like, papers, please, papers, please. It's just weird because it's different, you know. I understand the public health crisis part, but also I've lived in El Salvador. I lived in Nicaragua in 1998, 99. I've traveled to India with Miami University. Travel was so free, and then all of a sudden, 2 years ago, I don't think we can go anywhere right now. I really don't. And I'm like, is something else going on? Like, is there? I don't know. So number one thing as a social worker, definitely ask a lot of questions. You know, have more questions than answers, because a lot of times we don't have answers. So hopefully it ends soon. I remember they told us on spring break in 2020 we were going to be locked down for 2.5 weeks and wear masks for 2.5 weeks. Does anybody else remember that? So 100 weeks later, I guess it's been 2 years. The official start of the pandemic is January 23rd, 2020. 100 weeks later, has it gotten better or easier, or has it? It's kind of weird.
People are more relaxed.
That's true. Right. Yeah, and I'm not saying I have the answers either. That's why I just probably ask more questions. So, and we'll get a lot of those in here. All right, who is next? Who wants to go next? You? Okay.
My name is Tyler Robinson. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I'm a social work major, and I think I want to take it in the hospital too. Take the hospital route, social work.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, welcome. It does get the most money as of for now, it seems. I sit overnight for hospice. If any of you guys have heard of hospice before.
Yes.
So I'll sit with folks that are dying. We had a lot of COVID deaths the past year, but usually it was kind of two things going on, like diabetes and COVID, or heart issues and COVID. And so we sit and make sure nobody dies alone, essentially. And that's kind of hospital related too. So you want to go?
My name is Trey Sean. I prefer to be called Trey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Dayton, Ohio. I went to Dayton Early College Academy in high school. I majored in psychology.
Okay. That was my major in undergraduate, actually. So you'll see my degree hanging on the wall. It's from 1996 to 1999. I did psychology. Somebody convinced me to add a theology degree before I graduated. I wish they'd convinced me to add social work, because you get a license. But for grad school, somebody convinced me to do my MSW, the Master's of Social Work, took 60 hours. If I had a BSW, it would have only taken 30. And I did my doctorate in counseling. So psychology was an awesome introduction. I always encourage people to double major too. So even if you're social workers, I'm like, think about something else, a minor or a major, but also something with a license. So education, social work, and whatnot. But it is all grounded in psychology. That's the original foundation of all of it. I wish I didn't have to get my doctorate to get my psych license, though. That's why I never did grad school in psych, even though I ended up going on to get the doctorate. So, well, welcome. You want to go?
I'm from Chicago. My major is biology, and I want to be a
Do it.
I want to be a medical.
Okay, awesome. Well, welcome. Biology has some good stuff. Have you always liked science then too? The labs, that's what always killed me. You're like doing little tinctures, like try not to blow anything up. And well, welcome. You want to go?
Well, hi everybody, I'm Erica Fogel. I'm from Lexington, Kentucky. I'm a sophomore. My major is psychology, and I want to become a behavioral psychologist.
Awesome. I lived in Lexington for 3 years for my master's degree.
How do you like it?
I love Lexington. Like if I could move back down there, I would, as I feel like, what's that?
I said it's just a homey feeling.
It's close. I could even go home and see my parents in Cincinnati. It was like, even if I drove an 86 Honda then, it would break down every time I drove halfway up, but AAA would tow me the rest of the way. I was like, cool. I just riding the tow truck with some redneck, like chewing tobacco, and he gave me a ride. So scary dude, but I just tried to smell more than he did. So no, I miss Lexington. It was kind of fun. And the cost of living seems cheaper down there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like
Really?
everything is cheap, even rent.
Yeah, it really is.
Because I think you can rent still down there for $350, $450. You go around here, you're like $500, $600, $700, $900 a month.
You know, literally all my friends now have their own apartments.
Yeah,
Everybody.
you can have your own like land and garden and
Yeah.
farm if you want to. It's like,
Yeah, it's a lot of space.
yeah, I miss it, and it was very close to the Red River Gorge where I like to hike and run. But it's like I said, that was my living the dream in the 1990s. I still drive down once a year to go down through Lexington and see. Do you ever go to a basketball game?
Of course. No. Yeah.
I went once with my brother, and he used one of my old student IDs, and the University of Kentucky police found him and kicked him out of the game. Even though we looked the same, they were like, "You're not him." They like grabbed him and pulled him out. And then midway through the game, he got back in, and he was like sitting. I'm like, "How did you get into this game?" But yeah, it was crazy. Has anybody else been to a Kentucky game before? Or a NCAA like big basketball game, like yeah. And Ohio State and Kentucky have had some pretty big games, and actually Ohio State beat them once, Kentucky's beat them once. So yeah, who's ranked this year? Is Ohio State? Who's that? Are they? Okay. It's yeah. I do miss Lexington. That's like their main sport, right? That's because it's either like those race. It's basketball or race cars. I feel like. Yeah. Well, cool. Welcome. And then if you want to go, I think I'm guessing you're from Michigan.
I am. I'm from
Okay.
Detroit, Michigan. My name is Alexandra. You can call me Alex. This is my 4th year. I just came back to Central this year. So hopefully I graduate in December. Praying.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I am licensed in a CNA, so I do know about being in hospitality and everything. And I major in psychology. And right now, I want to get my master's in psychology, but I don't know what I want to do as far as,
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Welcome. And if you open up, so your degree now would be psychology.
Mhm.
And I was going to say, if would you have 30 hours to graduate? About 36.
Yeah.
I think you need 121 to graduate. And so if you're at 90,
Uh-huh.
you would easily do that with 15 and 15.
Yeah.
And then do you guys have your little sheet? So this is one other thing I'm going to stress from the very beginning. You have blank check sheet. And this will make sure you graduate on time if you basically take only the classes on your check sheet. So when I say check sheet, does anybody know what I'm talking about? Anybody not know? It's okay if you don't. You're okay. So the check sheet is basically your list of classes. And of course, I'm not going to find it when I want to, but we're going to go ahead and act like it's right here. Recent and then pinned. I bet you I have to go into a save folder. So if you have a check sheet, those of you who don't know what a check sheet was, how did you pick your classes? Right. That sounds about right. Okay, here's one. All right, so if you're a social work major, and every major will have one of these, and almost everyone, it will be about the same on the left side. So we all have to take like English, math, biology, history, and others. And then as a social worker, they have like another set of, it's like 49, that's like 48 hours. To graduate, it probably says 124, but we moved it. We keep making college easier for you guys. I'm so jealous. Now it's only 121. So you get to take one less class. It won't let me edit it. So if you take all these, and the fun part is there's cool classes like bowling and yoga and basket weaving. Problem is they don't get you finished fast. If you want to get finished fast, maybe there's some of you that want to stick around in college for 6 years. That's what I did. I have a lot of student loans because of it. I stayed in graduate school for 10 years, and you can borrow $21,000 a year. So you can do the math with interest on almost like a third of $1 million. So if you don't want to do that, do college fast. And it's basically just take what you need to take. You can take like a fun one. It'll be like additional electives. Let's see how you don't get any credit for it there. It's like you got a certificate in underwater basket weaving. So, does this look familiar now that I opened it for everybody? Okay. So if you want a copy, you're a social work major.
Can I get a copy too?
Yeah, email me and say, please send me the check sheet. And I always go through every single email. Like I have 16 waiting to be replied to right now, just during the class, which sucks. But if you send me an email, I do reply to you. I will get back to you. And then you're the only one who hasn't introduced self, if you would like to introduce self.
My name is Taylor, and I'm a psychology major and my sophomore year.
Do you know what the check sheet is? Okay, and you have one for your major. Cool. I say this because sometimes you could get to like sophomore, junior year. You're like, what's the check sheet? And then you open it up, and then all you have is classes down here. You're like, cool. How do I get out of here? How do I graduate? And it's like, well, you got to take one of these, two of these, 3, 1, 2, 3, 9. You know, if you just knock this out right at the beginning, has anybody tried to graduate early here? Like, do you know anybody who's finished in 3.5 years? Not that you have to, but I know it's possible. So say you did 18 times 5 would be, in 2.5 years, you would be a senior in 2.5 years. So you could graduate in 3.5 if you did 18, 18, 18, 18. Not fun, but if you're paying for it and don't want to do the student loan thing like that. Unfortunately, I took out a lot of student loans, and there is supposed to be forgiveness if you work at like most social work agencies or teach at public schools, but that's also a decade-long forgiveness. So, all I am doing today is introducing the syllabus. So everything will be turned in through D2L. I do most things. So assignments are all the mandatory. Discussions are like extra credit, things that you participate in like around the class. But the mandatory one would be assignments. And I promised you guys I would finish quickly with the syllabus. So let's go to that. If you don't have access to D2L, make sure to go to the 3rd floor of the building just beyond the bell tower there, and they will get you in. So this syllabus is up on D2L. There is your book, and here's what it looks like. So that's they were giving out free books last semester. Hopefully they're still doing that. You could buy used, and I'm okay if you bought the 8th edition. I think that's the 9th. You can buy the $4 8th edition. It's really okay. It's not going to be the end of the world. We'll go through these PowerPoints starting on Thursday with chapter 1. So syllabus is basically like the rules. So like your contract, this is everything of the class. Because this is social work, you get to learn quickly that a lot of our stuff is writing papers. So we start out small. Every 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have a paper. And this is the first one. So your social work is a career paper. You start out with like 2 to 3 pages, and that'll be every 2 to 3 weeks, and then have a discussion. Paper number 2 is the values assignment. I'll go into them in more detail right before they're due. So I'll go over this one on Thursday, and then it'll be due in 2 weeks. The values assignment is then paper number 2. It's about going over the social work code of ethics, like why we follow a code of ethics, why it was implemented. That one start getting longer. You got to write a few pages on that one, but again, just 3 to 4. The next one, so we're talking 6 to 8 weeks away, is global social work paper. Now we're 4 to 5 pages, so as long as you're kind of staying ahead of these and writing ahead of time, you will be okay. Now the field observation, this one is your only presentation you do, and since I mentioned I film everything on YouTube Live, so you can watch the class with the PowerPoint there and ask questions, and it saves. So like if you're sick, you get COVID, it's saved up here. You can present either YouTube Live or come here, and then I'll film it for you, presenting the field observation. The final paper there, not final paper, that would be the final test, is diversity in practice. So this is number 5. And then kind of a breakdown of your grading, with most of the papers being 1 to 200 points and a total of 1,000. And really that just brings us to starting here, week 1, with chapters 1 and 2. So I'll get you guys through this PowerPoint on Thursday. And that's all I have for today. So any questions? Pretty straightforward. As long as you turn in everything here, that's like your most important. That's all your mandatory stuff. And then discussions would be more of the extra credit and non-mandatory. So getting into assignments and downloading the syllabus, and that's it. So I always promise a quick first day just because it's just the syllabus. So that's all we got. And I will see you all Thursday.
Atmosphere on Thursday. So you said this will be available online
Yes.
on YouTube?
Yep.
Is it
I'll,
like linked in here?
I actually will. So I will share now, copy, and I think I guess I can hit end now too, because otherwise